Looks like we got a full house today. Good. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
David Cole.
How are you, sir?
Doing well. I enjoyed the iFratelli's pizza last night.
Thank you. Can you show me your receipt?
I have to get it from my wife, but I can show you the leftovers in the fridge, you know.
You should have ate those for breakfast.
The grandkids got them before I was,
Oh, yeah?
yeah, I was out walking early this morning. Hey, Chuck, how are you, sir?
I'm great.
Man, such a good
I'm doing
group.
well.
Jack, yeah.
Nice to
Jerry?
see everyone.
Hey, Robert.
Lazaro.
Hello, sir.
Glad everybody's here. Judy joining us again this week.
Hello.
Patty's friend, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, my friend Judy Pearson. Yeah.
Unmute myself. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for allowing me to come again.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Who's do we have somebody with all those flags, or is that our flag picture for our pledge here in a minute?
I think
that's
Maura's
That's
working.
Maura Gast has got all those flags up.
That's the flags. That's the infamous, that's the remains of the infamous flag incident.
Oh,
All of you remember.
goodness.
Wasn't funny, but anyway.
It is now.
Yeah.
At the moment, it wasn't.
Richard Raymond, Jim Klein, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Robert. Enjoying. Thanks for the
Glad you
text.
could join us.
Jim.
I'm Van Buren. Let's see, is Jackie Knox on with us? I see Jackie down there, and Neil and Kathy and Tracy. I'm gonna need a bigger computer monitor to get all you guys on the screen. Well, we're glad everybody's here. Got more joining us. Oh, there's Chris Dobson. Chris, did I overlook you? And Mike Kunstad. Hello, Richard Raymond. Glad to see
Hello.
everybody there.
Hello, Robert. David Harris.
David, good to see you, sir. Are we doing good with money? We still have money in the bank?
Yeah, well, Lindy's got a new set of books. So,
All right, good.
Yep. And with Rick Lindsay and Bob Bourgeois' help, we found some more money this morning. So,
Wonderful. You guys just go out and look under stones this morning and find some money, or?
well, it's about that bad. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're glad it was out there.
Yeah.
Lazaro, you've changed your virtual background again on me this week.
I did.
Yeah, looks good there.
Yes, sir. The guys at the agencies are very creative, so coming up with pretty good stuff for the rest of the year, the future events coming up.
Well, that looks good.
Yep.
Well, we're excited for our program today. Get to hear the iFratelli's story.
It's like 5 minutes long.
It's 45 minutes long.
No, 5 minutes long.
Oh,
5 minutes long. Could you just retell it 5 times then, so it'll fill the entire program time?
I can do it in English and Spanglish.
Okay. Good.
You want me to tell them about all the times I had to get you out of trouble?
Sure.
That would take another 15 minutes, wouldn't it, Randy?
Randy was our designated driver except for once.
All right. Randy, did he pay you to put those iFratelli ads up there on your
No,
display?
I said I was hoping for pizza.
I'm sure it's on the way. The delivery driver is trying to find you, all right?
He owes me from all the times in high school I got him out of fights.
Okay.
There's Robert Nelson. Robert, how are you, sir?
Good, sir. Yourselves?
Hey, Bob.
Outstanding.
Um,
You guys are all jumping around on the screen on me here, so I'm having to see who's popped in. Got another one. There's Linda Despain connecting her audio right now. Miss Linda. And there's Pastor Shane.
Pastor Shane.
Greetings, everyone.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
I'm all dressed up. I had to film church today.
I was going to say, you're the only one with a tie on, so You must be the designated prayer today then, if you've got a tie on, all right?
I can do that for you.
Okay, that's the only spot I didn't have filled on the agenda, so if you could assist me with that, that would be great.
Not a problem.
Well, I'm glad everybody is present. Everybody's been healthy. How has the re-engaging in society been going for everybody? Anybody been out to eat? Anybody got your hair cut or anything fun?
No.
I made it out to a barbecue place once for lunch and it was pretty okay.
Well, we'll have to enjoy some good barbecue at the country club or something when we're able to get back together soon, hopefully. Well, we're about ready to start. Our speaker, are we getting the 5-minute version or the 25-minute version?
You're getting 19-minute version.
19 minutes. You've been practicing, you got it down?
And we're gonna have a question section with no answers.
A question section with no answers.
Yes, sir.
Also how David does his board meetings.
Does that mean we all get a free pizza if there's no answers to the questions?
If there's anybody left on screen, maybe.
Okay. Could be. Could be. Well, it's almost 12:15, but I want to go ahead and get us started. We've got a good group here. So welcome to the Thursday, May 14th meeting of your Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club. So glad to see all of you today. Our prayer today will be led by Pastor Shane. Our pledge will be led by Tracy. I believe that Neil and Sandra are going to help us with song, and then we'll continue our program. So, Shane, glad you're here. Hope your family's been safe. Would you lead us in prayer?
Absolutely. Thank you for this beautiful day, for the sunshine that you have given to us. God, we ask for your protection in these bizarre and uncertain times, that you would lift us up and comfort us. And God, that you would motivate us to help those around us, to be a support to those who are struggling. God, we ask your help in this time. And may we continue to be a beacon of light and hope as we serve those around us. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Robert, we can't hear you. There we go.
I'm sorry. My audio control person muted me. I didn't know. Is Neil ready to sing?
Yes, this is Blake. I'm here.
All right, Blake. Great. What song are we singing today?
America the Beautiful.
Oh, wonderful. Well, go ahead and lead us, sir.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain. America
America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with good, from sea to shining sea.
Wow, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Trying to get everybody back on my screen here. You guys sounded great.
Thank you.
There, we got everybody back. Well, we're going to continue. We do have one visiting guest. So Patty Landers, Caperton, would you like to introduce your guest? Unmute yourself, Patty. Hold your space bar down. Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to introduce my guest, Judy Pearson, just one of my buddies, and glad she's here. She wanted to hear David today.
Wonderful. Judy, welcome. We're glad you joined us today. I'm looking around to see if we have any other guests. Maura Gast has given us a shout out. She just said hi to Judy there. See Bobby Haas has joined us. Hey, Bobby. John Eastwood has joined us. Who else has popped up on the screen there? Well, David Cole, everybody's excited to hear from you today. Before we jump right into David speaking, I was looking to see if Rick Lindsay or Bob Bourgeois was there to give us a flag update.
Well, Robert, are you? There was a group of us yesterday that worked and to get the flags ready for Memorial Day.
And were you attaching the flags to the pole, or what was your assignment, Patty?
Oh, I was lining up so Bill LaBar could drill and then passing them off to Mike Kunstadt and Rick and let's see, Ed was there, and who else? There was a small group, but we worked hard and got a lot done. And we're gonna meet again next Wednesday at 8:30 at the Y.
Next Wednesday.
Oh, there's Rick's on now. Maybe he can tell us more. But next Wednesday morning at 8:30. Be there or be square.
Be there or be square. We can do that. Lindy just pointed out to me, she had a flag update laying here. We have received $43,800 for flags so far this year. We have 912 paid flags. We have 927 pending flags. So those are people that haven't renewed yet. So that, if all of that happened, that would be 1,839 flags. That's a lot of work to do. So we need, what time are y'all working next Wednesday, Patty? You muted again.
Bill wanted us at 8:30, and if we're all working fast and hard, it'll be a little over an hour.
Next Wednesday, the 20th, at the shed there on the YMCA property?
Yes, sir.
All right. It'll take a little over an hour. So all of you that can, let's get that on our schedule so we can get out there. And I know we have some sleeves that need to be done. So we're going to have some that are going to need to get out and be part of that as well. So if you're not able to come next Wednesday, but help with sleeves, I know Lazaro, you had mentioned that you would be willing to help with that. A couple of the others of you that may have done that before, we're going to need to get some sleeves installed for before the Memorial Day weekend. All right. I don't see Rick Lindsay up there. Am I missing Rick someplace there? So, oh, there's a page 2. Wow, we have so many people. We have a page 2. Oh, there's Max Duplan on page 2 and Rick Lindsay. Hey, Max, how are you? Unmute yourself there. There you go. We missed you. I understand that your father passed away, so we extend our condolences to you, okay? Hit your space bar.
Very
or
much.
unmute you.
I just got back. Mama, every time I unmute it, it's back. So anyway, I think it's going to hold now. Beautiful ceremony. Because my brother's a priest, he was able to do it. It was a beautiful day. Mama's doing well. I just got back. I've only been back for a couple of days, so but everything's going well.
Well, we're praying for you. We're glad you're back in town. And there's Rick Lindsay up there. Rick, did you want to give us a flag update?
Sure, Mr. President. I'm on my cell phone, not on my laptop. So that's why I'm not, I don't have the camera turned on. But yeah,
we're making mile 26 on the bicycle and you don't want us to see you riding your bike?
No, that was last weekend when Blair and I rode 150 miles for the MS Society. So now today I'm waiting for my gluteus maximus to catch up with me. Yeah, but no, we had a great ride, beautiful weather. And so thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, flags are moving along. Lindy's doing a good job of catching us up on the email and the voicemail. She's getting us to a point where I will print off or download, she and I'll download a list. We'll segment that, send that. We have some volunteers who've said they will make calls and try to prompt the folks who have not responded to the 4 emails that we have sent out. I'm not sure if their web browser is putting those emails into their junk or spam, but the number of respondents is down. So we're going to have to do over the next few weeks, we're going to have to do some pretty aggressive calling and then continue that on into June probably. So, you know, Mr. President, probably what's going to happen is people are going to see the flags up in their neighborhood starting that 3 or 4 days prior to Memorial Day. And they're going to start bombarding us with phone calls saying, where's my flag? Where's my flag? And we're going to say, well, you didn't renew. So, you know, we're going to need quite a few either individuals or teams to help us over that probably 7 or 8 day period right around Memorial Day and Flag Day as we start to sort this deal out. So I'm trying to download $22,000. David already has about 19. We'll have that in the bank. And so we're making progress, but we're probably about 60% of where we should be, or where I think our goal is. So we've got flags, we're building flags. Now the most critical element is getting the current folks who have been subscribers to get them to renew, preferably online. It's pretty simple. Put your credit card, and you can, you know, it'll charge you the $50, but that makes it easier than trying to do a bunch of process where Lindy has to go pick up the mail, enter total, take it to David, get it verified, get it deposited. So if we can move people towards the online, either go through our flags over Irving, which will take them to the new software, or just go straight to the new software via one of the emails, it sure will make this process easier. So good news, we're making progress, Mr. President. We're not where I wish we were, but we've got a lot of people, Kathy, Bob, Lindy, Dave Harris. We've got a lot of people involved on that side of it, as well as the team building the flags. So we're making progress. Thank you, sir.
Well, Rick, I have on my calendar right now to be there next Wednesday, and I can help there. I can go install sleeves and So we'll see if we can get a team that'll work with me. We will get that done. As long as I'm checking out the screen here, let me just say hi to Bob Bourgeois, who's joined us. So glad you're here today. See who else has popped up on my screen there. It keeps bouncing a few folks around, but we've got 33 people on with Rotary so far at the moment. So that's a good number. Well, we've got an exciting program today. I know I always enjoy when I get to be around David Cole. I've learned that he's pretty quick, so you gotta, I don't gist him anymore because he can beat me with the comeback. So, but Mara, were you going to introduce our speaker today, or
I
Ms.
am,
Dobson
sir.
doing that?
I'm going to do that if I can.
Please.
It would be my pleasure. So we are continuing our theme this month of subjects relative to travel and tourism, because this is Travel and Tourism Month. And I wanted to make sure we told the food story as part of that story in Irving, because it's an important one, and you can't tell the food story of Irving without telling the Fratelli story of Irving. So it is my pleasure to introduce Irving's own David Cole. David grew up here. He's part of the class in 1980 from MacArthur High School. Go Cardinals. He began in the pizza business in June of 1980. He is a graduate of El Centro College with their food service operations degree. He and his three brothers opened iFratelli Italian restaurant in 1987 here in Irving. Now he is one of the owners of iFratelli Pizza. They own 9 locations and have 11 franchises opened, and they will open their Fossil Creek location next week. They have 4 other franchise stores that they've sold that are not open yet. David has also been a chair of the Convention and Visitors Bureau Board, and just when he thought he was getting out of that, we roped him back in to represent the restaurant industry and be the voice of. So it is my pleasure and my privilege to introduce my friend, David Cole.
Thank you,
Bravo,
Mara.
bravo. Applause, 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 applause.
That's the first one I ever got applauded for. Just so that what Mara said was, well, it's good to be here. It's you know, it's kind of touchy-feely being back with the Rotarians, because, you know, Patty and I were, and Rick Lindsay went way back. Then I got kicked out, and always wondered why there was never a restaurateur in Rotary. And I found out because I was in the Tuesday Club, and we had this thing called Lasagna Tuesday. And Lasagna Tuesday got so busy that my brothers wouldn't let me leave from behind the bar at lunchtime. And so Hal Salford, God rest his soul, kicked me out of Rotary. And then Randy Hubbard and Mr. Cornell spent the last 15 years trying to get me back. But because Mara didn't kick me out of ICVB, and I stayed with them. So for those that I don't know, because there's a lot of new faces on here. There's a lot of really old faces on there too, especially John Eastwood. And I can't tell the iFratelli story without telling an Eastwood story, because his son worked for me. And back when we opened Valley Ranch in the early 90s, and he took a delivery and he didn't come back for 40 minutes. And he came back, and this was no cell phones or anything yet. So he came back and he just dropped his stuff and said, just fire me. And I said, well, I'm not going to fire you. What happened? And he said, I got lost. But he found the house and he came back. So John's son, Greg, worked for us and has had a heck of a career since then. So if I would have fired him, he probably would have been on the street today, but I showed good judgment and let Greg keep on with his job. So I'm a restaurant guy coming up in June for 40 years, especially in the pizza business. October of 2017, my brothers and I decided to sell our full service concept. And then we just went into iFratelli Pizza. And Pete, now, since March, people are telling us that's the smartest. We sure were smart back then, because we really haven't had to adjust our business plan, the way we do things, our our daily operations, really at all. Now, you do have to get creative and you do have to adapt if you're going to get through this pandemic. Not as much as many of my friends and family that have full service restaurants. I have a cousin by marriage that when January 2020 started, he had 3 concepts and now he has 1. So he's already had to close 2 concepts because they were seasonal style concepts and they were for large gatherings, and that's just not going to happen for a while. So you can keep on trying to pay the bills, or you can just drop the anchor and close. A lot of you know my cousin Melvin from Poe Melvin's, and they've really struggled. They've had to go to, their dining room is full of computer monitors and telephones, and that is for the third-party delivery and call in and delivery orders. Now, since he has opened his dining room, but people aren't coming back yet. They're still frightened. He is a 30-year restaurateur here in the city of Irving. So a lot of his followers are at the age that everybody's telling them to stay home no matter what. So he has had to adapt his business plan into how to get more food delivered to his customers. The Wang family of Empress of China have been on Belline Road since 1982, and they're not sure if they're going to open their dining room ever again. They don't do a lot of dine-in because no one goes to the mall to eat, and his store is across the street from every mall, so that area is just not big on, when you think of going out to eat, you just don't think about Beltline and 183. So he's doing enough delivery and takeout, and him and his wife are the main employees, that he hasn't made a decision yet. The Empress of China will stay open, but maybe not as a dine-in restaurant. I am a member of the Greater Dallas Restaurant Association Board and the Texas Restaurant Association Board, and we just late last year, we hired a new CEO for the first time in 46 years for the Texas Restaurant Association. And she is because the Restaurant Association is kind of like Irving was for a long time. And it was a good old boys club. And there wasn't a lot of females in the restaurant industry. So it was a male driven. And so it took them like 60 years to catch up to today's times. So we hired Dr. Emily Knight, who is in education, and she is big on culinary education in the high schools and the middle schools. And she did not know or could have prepared herself for the job that she just took. First of all, she has had to change a lot of stubborn people's minds on the way an association needs to operate, because we spend a lot of money on different things and it all has to do with donations. It's kind of a nonprofit, and we do a lot of government affairs, and we have to have political action committees, and people have to give money to those so that we can keep the government, on our side. And we've really had to wave the flag of the restaurant industry, not only federally, but state, to try to get the governor and the president and everybody else on our side. I saw a stat today, bars have been closed for 50 days now, and there's no sign of them opening here in a while. That's 75,000 jobs just from bars that have been lost, 630 million in revenue from those bars. And that 630 million without the bars means a $40 million deficit for alcohol tax revenue for the state. So that's just bars. So you have a lot of restaurants. Now, the reason I told you that is, now you know why the governor allowed everybody to sell drinks to go. Right off when he closed the dining rooms, he let restaurants sell drinks to go. Now, last year, we passed a law that you could deliver alcohol, but it had to be in a manufactured closed container, like a bottle or a can or some type of manufactured product that you would have to open. But now people are just selling margaritas in styrofoam cups. And the reason that the governor allowed that was so they wouldn't cut off completely the alcohol tax. So there's a lot of things going on with the state and the county with this pandemic. But Robert also asked, have you been out to eat? And I have to raise my hand. I go out to eat at least once a day. I don't fear of getting COVID, and that's probably why, because I'm just stubborn and I'm an extrovert and I'm not going to stay home. But if I don't spend money in the restaurants that I like, then I can't expect them to be there when this thing gets lifted and COVID goes away. If you're just staying home and you're only cooking at home, I understand that's what you need to do. But if you don't go out and eat at your favorite restaurants, at least to go or buy gift certificates and you can use them later, they really may not be around when all this comes back. Because if you open at 25% of capacity and your tables need to be 6 feet apart, you may not have the building footprint to allow more than 5 or 6 tables. And if you can't make any money at 5 or 6 tables, and then when you go to 50% like we did last Friday, and I think the governor did, he lifted that to 50%, plus he opened the salons on Friday, and I think that was for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is the #1 day for dine-in restaurants the whole year, because no one's going to make their mom cook, and the only time the dads cook is on Father's Day. So everybody goes on Mother's Day. Well, there's a lot of restaurants that they have Mother's Day on the calendar because that's when they're going to make their most money. And for many, many years at iFratelli's Restaurante, we had a Mother's Day buffet, and we had reservations from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. booked solid every year. And it was all hands on deck. And I can't imagine what these restaurateurs did last Sunday. They had to be, you know, it's very sad. But saying that, if they don't adapt the way that they're doing business, then they're going to fail. And I've been in contact with the art group who owns the Toyota Music Factory, and he is, I put him in touch with some of our restaurateurs and the TRA, and they're going to have to come up with something really, really imaginative for all those restaurants. Because if they're shut down, it's hard for anybody to pay rent. And you can talk about all the PPE and loans and that sort of thing. And there's a lot of landlords giving, they won't make you pay rent now, they'll just put it on the end of the year. Well, if you don't have the money now, you're not going to have the money then, because we may be looking at August before people kind of start going out again. I think it's going to have to do with the sports world. Is it going to conduct whether people decide to gather again? When I was asked to do this talk, I was trying to think of how does this pandemic affect the Rotary Club? And you can go down the 4-way test. And if you're thinking about the 4-way test, you're thinking about whether you agree or disagree with County Judge Clay Jenkins, the way his directives, then you have to say, you know, he's looking at, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And well, not everybody's the same, but if he used that for his directives, then he's abiding by the 4-way test. When I joined Rotary, they made me be a greeter. And that means I had to wear a different color button than everybody. and I had to stand there and shake hands with everybody. Well, right now you can't even shake hands. And then once we sat down, everybody grabbed a plate at a buffet line and everybody ate breakfast or lunch, depending on what club you're in. What's going to happen to buffets? What's going to happen to salad bar restaurants? What's going to happen to Brazilian steakhouses? We have about 4 Brazilian steakhouses in Irving, and the gauchos carry meat on a sword through a dining room, and then they go from table to table cutting the meat. Is anyone ever going to want to do that again? And these are strong restaurants in the city of Irving. Bono Brazza, the one at the Toy Music Factory, they are a Brazilian steakhouse, and they have a huge salad bar. So they're strike 1 and strike 2. So I don't know, I haven't talked to them, so I don't know what there's going to be. But the country club, Las Colinas Country Club, anyone that does lunch buffets, is anyone going to be ready to go to a buffet in 2020? That's all unseen. But that is also that's what we're looking at. And we've got to adapt. I don't know how long I've been going, but you tell me if I have time, or you want me to answer questions, or what you want me to do.
David, you do still have time. This is Maura. Would you talk a little bit about the various delivery services that are out there? You guys choose to deliver your own pizzas, but the Grubhubs and the DoorDashes and all the world, for some of our restaurants, that's their only option for getting food delivered, but it's not always the best option for the restaurant. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I can.
Would you?
Well, I'm going to try to be objective, which I'm not. Third-party delivery came about before the pandemic. It's made a lot of money since. It's going to be your decision whether you trust that driver with your food or not. We base our business plan on you have 1 employee, a pizza delivery driver that touches your pizza, puts it in the warmer bag, puts it in the car, brings it to you, hands it to you, comes back. We do 1 delivery at a time. Grubhub, Favor, Uber Eats, DoorDash. Anybody can click on any order that comes out as long as they're in their car. So they could go by Chipotle and get Patty's food and then be driving over there and stop at Snappy Salads and gets Robert's order and deliver Robert's order before Patty's order, and there's no rules. Now, since this pandemic, a lot of companies had come up with tamper-proof to-go containers, and I don't know who's using them and who isn't, but a lot of complaints from these third-party deliveries is they didn't get all their food. And I don't mean they didn't get all their order, they got less food than they normally do when they order. So someone was eating out of their bag on the way to their house. And I'm not trying to crucify these companies. I'm actually telling you, I've been on talks with these companies, and I'm telling companies it may be better for them to hire their own drivers. Now, Poe Melvin's could not. They have 1 driver that delivers their food, and then they use 3 different third-party deliveries. That's the only way he can survive. Now, the best way for you to do it is you can do it touchless, and they can drop your food at your doorstep and then ring the doorbell, or I guess on your app, it tells you that they're here, and then you can go out and get your food, and you don't have to touch those people. But it's better than not going and ordering from those restaurants anyway. So at least you're still you're still giving the restaurant money. Now, the thing is, these third-party deliveries take 30% of the ticket. So the restaurant is losing a percentage of their very tiny segment of money that they make. The other thing with third-party deliveries, before the pandemic, we didn't want to use them because if you have a dine-in restaurant, you want to sell someone a drink, but you couldn't sell drinks to go back then. Also, I'd want to sell you an appetizer. Then I'd want to sell you your entree, and then I'd like to get you either coffee or dessert afterwards. And usually when people order third-party delivery, they're just ordering their entree and then that's it. So the restaurants are missing out on revenue as well with third-party deliveries. But they're out there. You're going to have a smartphone. So I don't think you can use a flip phone and order from those companies. But you can. You got to pull up their apps, and you just see hundreds of restaurants on there. Sometimes it may cost you $5 to get delivery. Sometimes it may cost you $7. So the company is charging you and the restaurant to bring the food to you, and that's your decision whether that's something that you want to do or not. But be careful. Yes, ma'am.
David, talk about what is appropriate tipping when we order something and go pick it up. I think we all feel the need to help out and tip, but tell us, just talk about that. What is the norm these days?
Patty, there's no norm these days. You know that. Now, people that we have a position in our company called Sales Pro, and that's who answers the phones and places the orders for you on the phone. And they're also the people that greet you when you come in to take your pizza out. And let's take our Las Colinas location. They would make $5 to $10 a shift, and now they're making $75 to $100 a shift. People are tipping a lot more now than they used to. My son works for me, and then he just got married and bought a house. So he delivers pizza and grapevine Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. And the last 3 months, his tips have gone up about 25% because people are paying more. And especially the online ordering, people are putting fatter tips on, they just punch it in. So they don't have to hand the money to them. They punch it in on the app. And so they're tipping more. The rule that I always say is you tip for the service. Now, if the minimum wage goes up to $15, then there will be no more tipping, because that's what the government that wants, the side of the government that wants the $15 minimum wage is going to try to teach a country that is used to tipping not to tip anymore. Well, most servers and good servers in restaurants, they're making $29 to $35 an hour, and they're not going to work for $15 an hour. So in the food service business, our waiters or servers, they make $2 to $5 an hour on payroll per hour, and then they make their tips. And they would rather do that than make $15 an hour, because then that'll kill their income. Does that answer your question, Patty? Mara, do you just want to open it up for questions now?
Sure. Robert?
Yes, I'm fine with that. Go ahead. Anybody else have questions?
Yeah, Dave, this is Rick Lindsay, and I want to compliment you and your team, because I call them about once a week or more, and the protocol that you have in place for the delivery guy is excellent in terms of mask and gloves and paying and tipping and the whole works. So you've got a good model. It's working. Thank you. My question is, as people start to go into the restaurants, and now we're introducing 25 or 50% capacity, what protocols or processes are the restaurants putting in place for the chefs and the other people that prior to opening it up was kind of isolated, which was important to me? And do you see some consistency in Irving or Dallas or the state about protocols and procedures that they're using to ensure their people inside are healthy and not spreading this stuff? Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate your loyalty. I can put on my website, I can put on my menu, I can put on my front menu, my front window, anything that you want to hear. And if you're not in my kitchen, you're not going to know whether it's happening or not. So we want to abide by the rules as well as we can. If your kitchen wasn't clean before the pandemic, then you shouldn't have been in business anyway. So when they say a kitchen needs to deep clean, they should have been deep cleaning every day for every day since they opened. The employees that touch the food are now wearing gloves. If you go to a restaurant and they're not wearing gloves, then you can walk out. But you can ask every restaurant that you go in now, what is their protocol? And some of the protocols, well, first of all, the food, if I touch if I don't wear gloves and I touch a raw chicken breast with my fingers and I dredge it in flour and then I put it in a skillet and I saute it, that temperature is going to kill anything that was on my hands through the cooking process. So you don't have to worry about that. A lot of municipalities have had us use gloves in the kitchen for many, many years. Well, sometimes it's a false security because that means they can use one pair of gloves for 2 hours. Whereas if their hands would have got dirty, they had to wash their hands 50 times in those 2 hours. So you got to watch out about people that use gloves and don't use gloves. I don't use gloves when I cook because I want my hands to get dirty and I want to wash them to make sure it's clean for the next. But the way the protocol is written right now, if you go to a restaurant and you order drinks and they bring your drinks, as soon as they set your drinks down, they should take those gloves off, throw them away, and put another pair of gloves on. Every time they touch something, they should change their gloves. Well, that's not going to happen. People just don't think about that. The other big thing is single-use items. So if you go to a coffee shop here in town, they still have salt and pepper shakers, hot sauce, ketchup, and that sort of thing in the middle of the table. Now, after you use that and you get up from your table, they wipe all those off. But if you're part of the old man group and there's 5 of you, then all 5 of you are going to use 5 people use the salt shaker, 5 people are going to use the pepper shaker. That's whether you got to decide whether you want to eat with that many people in that style or not. Poe Melvin's took all their condiments off their table, so they bring you the little bitty paper packets filled with salt and pepper, ketchup packets, mustard packets, mayonnaise packets, so that it's single use. If you go into a restaurant and they don't hand you a paper menu, then they're not using the right protocol. So you can tell that right off, because all the menus should be paper, and you order off that menu and they take that menu and they should throw it away. Does that answer your question, Rick?
Yes, it does. And thank you very much. You make me, I'm more confident now that they're reopening. You've given me some points to watch for if I go in and sit down. So excellent points. Thank you very much.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want to dip your toe into the water of going out to eat, go now, because there's no one in there. And I went to the Spirit Grill the first night, and there was 6 people in the whole restaurant, 1 booth that was probably 40 feet away from us, and then a bunch of people at the bar. And then I went to the little restaurant on Irving Boulevard, Arturo's, which is a family-owned restaurant. It's been there for many years. There was 3 other people in the whole restaurant besides me. So if you want to go without there not being very many people, now's the time to try it. And go in there and have an appetizer and then check out and then leave and see how that made you feel. Because I've taken friends and they've decided to go ahead and go out to eat a little bit at a time, but they're not going full speed. But once again, I can't tell you enough that if you want that restaurant there in August, you better start eating there in June, May and June.
Good counsel, good advice. And I went over and picked up at at Lamberti's Sunday evening. And to Patty's point, I asked the young lady that brought the food out, I said, was there a check included when it was paid? And she said, yes. And I said, well, how much and how many people are working inside? Because I always try to make sure if there's 5 people that I tip 5 people, because I think they're kind of pooling and splitting. And she very nicely said, no, the tip on the receipt is adequate. You don't have to tip anymore. And so, you know, I thought that was very nice of that group and that culture that David's got going over at his place. So, yeah, there's about a dozen restaurants that I want to, you know, that I use regularly, and I'm going to continue to do that. Thanks, David.
Yes, sir. I can't comment on that because I have a non-compete with Lamberti's.
Any other questions for David? David, I will tell you that we've been out a couple of times to eat during the pandemic, and just even this past week. But all my kids are not necessarily ready to go out. We actually bought sandwiches and went to the lake out at Lake Grapevine and had Mother's Day out there. And part of that was just to give the kids some open space to play. But like many of the other Rotarians, we're ready to go eat. But it is good for us to kind of know what we should be looking for and, you know, be cautious, especially if you have some underlying health conditions. Well, before we move on, David, I just want to say thank you again. You know, I wish you'd come speak to us every year and just give us your insights. And at some point, we need to get you back in Rotary, but we'll save that for another day. Jordan has been sending me a few notes, and I just want to pass this along to the club that first of all, we're glad you all attended. This is the most we've had on a Zoom meeting where for Rotary since we started, 33 people today. So give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you for that. We're recording our Rotary meetings. They're going on. Rotary has a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook page. We have a website. So if you do miss a meeting, you can watch the meeting through those means. We're not sure that we're getting everybody's or that we have everybody's email. So if you in the chat area on your display, if you wanted to just type your email address in there and just hit the return key, we'll be able to capture that, and we'll make sure. I have a list of everybody in the club, and I have email addresses, but some of them are bouncing back. Some of you are not getting Mara's email every week. So just this is a good opportunity for me to just say, would you share that with me? I'm also sending text reminders, but some of you have home phones on this. So if you'll share a cell phone with me, then I'll make sure you get a text reminder, and I'll put a link in the text where all you have to do is click on the link and you can get right into our Zoom meeting. And I'm getting a note here that Bob Bourgeois has a comment. So Bob, you have something you want to add to that?
Oh, thanks, Robert. I don't know if Rick Lindsay mentioned, but our club owes David and his brothers a huge debt of gratitude for their support over the years, every year, especially lately for the flag program. And as many of you know, we have a get-together. It's been at Plymouth Park United Methodist Church the last few years, but we have a pizza party for the scouts once a year that work on the flag program, and David and his brothers have been kind enough to provide the pizza for that. So and he's a supporter. He was actually the first person to resubscribe for his Millennium Fountain flag this year. So they've been big supporters of ours for a long time, and we say thank you.
Yes,
Thanks, Bob.
thank you.
And I appreciate the good look too, Bob Bourgeois. Looks good.
Yeah, he is growing that out, David. He tells us he's going to be a wise man in the Christmas play, so we're letting him work on that. Well, we thank all of you for joining us today. David, we do thank you for being our program and for all the support that you provide this community, but especially this club and the work that we We do feel like that you're a strong partner of Rotary. We'd like to invite you to come be part of our meetings anytime you'd like. Tracy Love is on the display screen somewhere. Jordan, if you'll put her up on the speaker view for us. Tracy's going to lead us in the four-way test. So let's get Tracy at the speaker view here. And throw our four-way test up on the screen, Jordan. Mara's already getting in the chat line there, so she's already helping us.
While Jordan's doing that, Mr. President, the flag that's flying over your YMCA in Irving is new because the Rotary Club donated that.
Wow.
I am so happy. Thank you for that, because I saw it. I'm actually at the Y today. So I saw it today, and I reached out to our facilities crew because I thought they may have done it. But thank you guys for doing that. We've had a couple flags that we bought that were kind of just, cheap and didn't last that long. So I appreciate you guys taking that initiative and doing that for us. Yeah.
Well, Tracy, lead us in the four-way test. It's up on the screen.
Okay. The four-way test of things we think, say, or do. First.
Is it the truth?
Second. Is it
Fair to all concerned.
Third.
Goodwill and better friendship.
Fourth. Will it
Be beneficial to all of us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again, Tracy. Thank you to all of you for being part of this Rotary meeting. We will continue to meet in this format probably into the early part of June. So the link that you got today for today's meeting will not change. So even though I'm texting out a new link, it's a recurring meeting. So you can hit next week the same link you got this week, and it'll get you into the meeting. But if anybody's having a problem, you can reach out to me or Jordan. We'll see if we can top 33. Maybe we can have 40 people in Rotary next week. All right. David Cole, my friend, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the work that you do. And we'll leave this open for a few minutes. So if some of you want to continue to chat some, you're welcome to do that. And then as you exit, that'll be fine. I'll close the meeting out in about 10 minutes, but though some of you haven't seen each other in a while. So if you want to chat, unmute yourself and enjoy your time together. All right. God bless you all. Be safe.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. We gotta go, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Nice seeing Dave.
Yeah.
Max, I'm sure sorry to hear about your dad.
I can barely hear.
Max, I'm David Harris. Was so sorry to hear about your dad.
Thank you, David. He went very peacefully, so that was good.
Here.
David.
Yes.
All right.
A gratuitous note to the speaker. Yes. Hi, David.
How are you?
Good.
Where are you at, David?
I'm at home.
Are you? Okay.
There's too many people at the office for me to move around. How many people?
It should tell us.
6, 7 so far.
Yeah.
Oh, does it start at noon?
Yes.
12:15.
I thought you were already having your meeting.
Nah, I think they let us log on and just kind of shoot the breeze for a while, like it was a regular meeting.
Very good.
David, will you have content to share, like a presentation?
No, sir. That's way too fancy for me.
Okay. All right.
Will you share your story of when you used to be in our group?
Yes, I will. Do you want to know the beginning or the end?
I've heard it so many times. But just remember, I don't think he's with us anymore, so be nice.
I know that. What about Mr. Cornell? Is he still around?
He's still alive, far as I know.
Yeah. But they moved, right?
They did. Yeah, they're out in the HEB area.
Yeah. I'm not gonna throw any dead people under the bus, Randy.
Thank you.
But the rest of us are open season, right?
Yes, sir. Especially former city employees.
Oh, yes. Target's up.
How's your dad doing, David?
He's doing good. He's
Good.
doing good.
Need
He
to
has,
holler at
he has a
him.
coloring book.
He needs a coloring book.
He has one.
Why? That's just what he passes time with now, is
Well,
coloring?
you know, he's got little great grandbabies and stuff, and
Oh, okay. Yeah.
they leave him there. So when he gets tired of TV, he starts coloring.
Well, good.
I don't know if that means he's on his way down or not.
Is he still driving?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just haven't run into him around town in a while, but
Well, they're trying to keep him home, but
yeah.
he's a buck and bronc, so he don't stay still very long.
Yeah. How's your pizza business? Doing good?
Some are good, some are bad, but overall, you know, we didn't have to change much of what we were doing.
Right.
You know, we didn't have to implement anything except the glove and the mask and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we had a guy come to us Sunday night. He had the face shield on. He had everything from y'all. That's what
We've had some employees that said they didn't want to work, and we've had a lot of applications.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard a lot of the people who are, with the unemployment are they make more money off unemployment, at least for the time being.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it'll be interesting what happens at the end of July when that peters out,
Right.
Yeah, we have been told that by the Texas Workforce Commission that if you did furlough somebody and then you call them to come back and they do not, then you turn their name into the Texas Workforce Commission and they'll they'll stop the checks that week.
Wow.
Really, that quick. Hi, Chuck.
Hi there. I'm here.
Good.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck. Hi, David.
How you doing, boys?
Yes.
Good to see you.
Looks like we got a flag up anyway.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? This is Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry.
Hey.
Hi, Jerry.
All the big hitters.
I got to figure out how to mute myself in a minute if I'm going to eat my lunch. There it is.
It's down in the bottom left.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did it on my phone since I got it by text.
Okay.
I'll be muting everybody here in a minute anyways.
That's cool.
Especially David.
There's a good.
I think it should be John.
John? Say a word.
Hello, John.
Jackie, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Hey, Jackie.
Hi, guys. There y'all. And ladies.
Howdy, Jackie.
Hello, Kim. My pizza hadn't arrived yet, though. I don't know what the deal is there.
You probably should have called yesterday.
Hi, Jenny.
You want that turned down. Now, Randy, you've got 3 iFratelli pizza plates up there. Is this kind of like marking a notch on the handle of your gun or something?
No, I'm begging. I'm begging for pizza. It's hungry over here. I guess, David, did you get those pictures from Elise Sunday?
Yes.
You were
No, I
sending a
didn't.
bunch of pictures in.
Yeah, we're gonna use them.
Good.
We're not gonna use the ones with Will in them.
That's fine. I wouldn't use an Arrington either. Did y'all open your second footwear store yet? Or is it ready to open and they just don't want to? Or David, did I hear?
Well, the franchisee,
Right.
he owns Keller.
Yep.
And they're running about 35% ahead of previous year sales. So they're really busy.
Okay.
A week ago, Monday, not this past Monday, the Monday before, his wife had a baby.
Okay.
And so now he's looking for some experienced cooks to be kind of like a first round draft choice quarterback to
Yeah.
build your franchise around.
Uh-huh.
And he's out there in the sticks. So there's not a lot of kids that want to go out there. You know,
Yeah.
the further you get out, you got to build your own staff. So
But it's open, ready, or it's not open,
it's
but
not
it's
open,
ready
but
to
he wants to
go.
open on Monday.
Oh, Monday it will. Okay.
As soon as I find out, my first text is to your daughter, Evan.
Evan, yeah, Evan's been bugging me about it.
That's an understatement for me. She's bugs me too.
Well, good. I'm glad she bugged somebody.
Yeah, we'll do if she knows her neighbors, we'll do a pizza party. You know, we can
Oh,
bring
yeah.
pizzas to everybody on the block and introduce them all at one time.
Yeah, she's pretty involved in her homeowner association. They're
Oh, good.
probably, I don't know, maybe 600. It's a big neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. We'll get them going.
David Go, Mike Kunstad here.
How you doing, Coach?
Doing well. You're staying healthy, I see. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Coach. I didn't see you pop on.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, Coach. Hello, Mike. David Harris.
Yes, David. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start sitting closer. The picture is getting smaller. Hello.
Sounds like some more people coming on. Okay. Can't tell.
Yeah.
Who's that supposed to?
They'll eventually show them. If I do this, you can see everyone.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Except me. I won't be there. Let me fix that so it sits up straight.
Oh, that's fine. I can see it fine. I just have to sit up.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Patty.
Worker, up, Patty.
Oh, that's better.
Can you see yourself in the little frame now?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, David.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
And hi, Patty. David Harris.
Oh, yeah, both Davids. Yeah, David Cole, I was saying hey, and then I see David Harris. Hi, y'all.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready.